Looks up like a sock puppet. I think someone told me that. Maybe it was my dad. He likes to make fun of me. Sea serpent looks sort of like a giant sock puppet. Actually, I could say that my dad actually, like when I first told him the game name Dubloon, he, pretty quickly caught on that it was misspelled. The correct spelling for doubloon in real life is Doubloon, as in like double oon, because it was like worth two or something. And I was aware of that, but I still chose to call it doubloon without the first O, because I think well, I like the look of the title first of all much better without the O, because when it's doubloon with the O, it looks like duality is some sort of main point of the game, and it's not. It's just, I don't know, pirate currency is the only reason why that's the title. And I wanted to be sort of a unique spelling so that people doing searches for the game would find it more easily. Uh, but my dad firmly believes that I just flat out misspelled doubloon, and I'm too stubborn to fix it. So that's sort of been an ongoing in joke between us for the last like 6 months. Alright. Have the fangs. Time to dungeon it up. And now, like I said a long time ago, there's a huge amount of space between the second dungeon and the third dungeon. And by now you should have realized that, yes, that is true. There is a lot of space. This game doesn't really closely follow any like specific dungeon and then regular game sort of, or dungeon overworld boss kind of structure. Again, a lot of the development was sort of disorganized, and I made it up as I went along. This dungeon included. I didn't really even think of like this like red blue switch, and the parrot until I think like right before I started working on this dungeon. But as soon as I thought of it, well, I mean, I didn't invent that right here. It came from Assassin Blue, and I think I saw in a Zelda game too, like one of the handheld ones. And I thought it was really cool, and I got really inspired, and then I basically based every puzzle in this dungeon around that little gimmick there. And yeah, like the other dungeons, I like really just basically sat down and threw this one together really quickly in a span of like a week. I had a lot of fun making them. I was also really proud of how like the tiles in this one looked, like the little bricks, and these little like the really little bricks that are sort of darker colored. They look fancy. I like them. I am pretty far under leveled for this dungeon. I'm like 5 levels below where I should be. This puzzle's kind of lame, I know. But yeah. not much to say about that one. This puzzle, though, I'm really proud of. When I thought of it, I was just like, yes, this is perfect. We have to put 2 bombs next to the switch, and then move in the time between them. Clever. Oh, and here's the Rage Hammer. Great weapon. Personal fave. For a while, anyway. Once I beat this dungeon, I'm probably going to spend some time just leveling up here. Or I could just cheat again. That's an option. I might just do that. I don't know. Well, there's a boss fight coming up eventually, which I'm going to have to be ready for. Jeez. Yeah, so the enemies for this dungeon are pretty generic, actually. I have like these little updated versions of the skulls you saw in the first dungeon, and these mini versions of the sea serpents you were just fighting. And then there's my favorite one, which hasn't appeared yet, but I'm sure will soon. Alright, here we go. The Fetch Parrot. This is the only time in the entire game that he talks. And, no real reason for him to talk ever after this, so I guess it makes sense. Designing this dungeon was fairly straightforward, especially after the other ones I made. I was sort of getting into the hang of, putting together puzzles and planning it out and stuff. For me, level design has actually usually been, like, one of my favorite things to do when I'm making a game. I was surprised when I found out, like, my friend Broad, again, he makes games too, but he hates doing level designs, which doesn't make sense to me. Because that's, like, to me, that's, like, the essence of making games. It's, like, what it's all about. Alright, so the Fetch Parrot, I can talk about that a little bit. At first, the Fetch Parrot seemed like a really great idea. Like, he was really, like, pirate-related, you know, good effects, you know, good for, like, hitting these switches and stuff. But then I found, really quickly that, I don't know, the Fetch Parrot didn't really leave a lot of room for designing puzzles with, because it really was just, like, you throw how many hits a switch, and, or you throw how many picks up an item. It just didn't really have any, like, I don't know, it didn't really seem like there was any room for it to grow beyond just its use in this dungeon. And so in the next dungeon, I had a lot of trouble coming up with a really, like, reasonable puzzle for it. I had one more idea later on for a way to, like, use it in the puzzle, but I saved that until the very last dungeon. Dude, in this room, basically just lots and lots of switch hitting. Oh, Jesus. These guys are really grouped up there, huh? Alright, if I can somehow manage to kill all of these guys, it'll be worth a lot of good EXP, I think. The hard part is actually killing all these guys without everybody dying. God damn it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, he's so close to dying, it's not even funny. Oh, God, no, he's done.